show that will hopefully help you figure out what you want to do in life or reconnect you to what you love doing. Each show has a guest who is doing what they want to do, whether it's in their career or in addition to their regular job. Most importantly, we want to help you realize that no matter your age, you too can do what you want to do if you have the will to do it. Now here's your host, Leonard Kaplan.
Hi, and welcome to part 2 of my special interview with Jason Merrick, the administrator and founder of Captain Kangaroo Memories on Facebook. On this episode, we talk about the question, could they produce children's programming today the way they did yesteryear in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? We also talk about TV shows of different regions of the country and what we remember, and our overlapping clown, Willie Whistle. We also talk about the birth of UHF and how it evolved, Bozo the Clown, and, of course, the holy grail of children's video, will more Captain Kangaroo shows be found? So stay with us, and you're sure to have a good time. I was going to save this for possibly my last question, but do you think that it is possible in this day and age to produce shows of the quality of a Captain Kangaroo, of a Winchell Mahoney show, of a Kukla, Fran and Ollie, anything like that? Do you think the audience of kids is that different than we were?
I think so. I agree with Bob Keeshan. He was asked about this, and he himself said a 1950s production possibly would not be accepted by children today, being children of the internet, of so much more information. I'll probably leave it right there in his words. It's unfortunate, but that's I suppose that's for the new generation. Oh, I'm sure there are children here and there who will look at it with wide-eyed wonder, which I did, but that would be, I think, just few and far between, sadly.
Yeah, because I think the kids get their smartphones way too young today.
Well, that's I guess that would be up to the parents. I have my own opinions about that, but I guess information comes in many forms, and so does entertainment. But at least we can. You and I, of our generations, we can look back and see at least a portion of what we enjoyed.
Now, you mentioned the golden age of television, the golden age of children's television. There was also a golden age that none of us will ever see all of, and that means the children's programming in the different regions of the United States. In New England, we had Captain Bob and Rex Trailer. And I have to add Big Brother Bob Emery, who was popular in Boston in the early days of TV. He was famous for singing his theme song, The Grass is Always Greener. And of course, Major Mud, the astronaut, I'll Be Blasting You was his trademark line. And of course, Miss Jean on Romper Room, which, as we all know, every major metropolitan city across the United States had a different Miss Someone. In the Boston area, it was Miss Jean. In the northern New England area, it was Miss Connie, and the list goes on. And I just want to add this picture before we go back to our recorded show. We have Bozo from left to right, Rex Trailer, Major Mud in the back, Pablo, who was Rex Trailer's first sidekick. And I don't think that's Miss Jean that we see, but it's someone who is involved in children's television. And this clown is unidentified. If anybody knows who that clown is, I would love to know. It's on Google. You can Google it. And in the front with the glasses, with Bozo's hand on his shoulder, is Big Brother Bob Emery, who had a little ukulele. And as I said, he sang The Grass is Always Greener in the other fellow's yard. Captain Bob was interesting in that he encouraged his audience to draw along with him from beginning to end of some cartoonish figure. And it was very interesting. And he also had a little thing that I'll always remember called Mr. Answer. And it was a little box, and it had a face, and you would write a question and put it in. And what does that remind you of? It reminds you of today's computers. So I always tell people who remember that Captain Bob and his show introduced this generation of baby boomers to the fundamentals of a computer.
Yes.
And in northern Vermont, my grandparents lived in northern Vermont. They had 9 o'clock land, which had all these puppets.
Yes.
And I just, it's not possible for any one person, I think, to have seen all of these things. In New Hampshire,
Mhm.
seasonally, they had the Santa Claus show.
Mhm.
And I think Santa Claus was
Oh,
played by
yes.
the same guy that was Uncle Gus in Manchester, New Hampshire. He was the best Santa Claus. I do a good Santa Claus myself, but it's modeled after the Santa Claus in Manchester, New Hampshire. But I'm throwing all this stuff at you. But what local children's programming are you familiar with in different regions?
Oh, goodness. In this area, we had two that were just the tops, and many people remember them. One was it wasn't specifically designed for children, but a lot of them watched it. A character uh, created and portrayed by a local news personality on Channel 9 in the area named Baron Damon, and he hosted a monster movie late night and afternoon and evening weekend monster movie. He would dress up like a spooky but very funny vampire character, and we have some footage of that. But also, we also had a monster movie matinee from the 60s and 70s with Dr. Enoch Whitty and EPAL, also from local media. They were newsmen, and they got together with these great to show characters, to show these old monster movies, and they would be Dr. Whitty. You would only see his arm and his hand with the long black fingernails and the veiny hands, and you would hear this wonderfully $1 million voice of his. That was and his assistant Epal. And we can see some of those. Those are online if you'd like to look those up. But perhaps the best and most remembered, beloved children's program in this area was called the Magic Toy Shop. And it began in even before the Captain, in February of '55, and that was on Channel 5. That had Merrick was the hostess, and she would again open the door to the Magic Toy Shop. Eddie Flumnum. We had the Play Lady, Jean Doherty. She wrote all the scripts, and it showed. They were wonderful, and it would be all be set in the toy shop. And think about reminiscent of the Captain, when they would tell stories, show films, and they would also have a character named Mr. Trolley. He would be behind this set of like a trolley track, and he had a trolley head over him, and his nose blinked on and off, and he had like a trolley rod on there. So that's very fondly remembered, and maybe about a dozen or so of those exist, and that lasted in different formats for about 27 years.
Wow, yeah, we had Willie Whistle, who was a clown.
I remember Willie.
You do?
Yes, I do. I came around in the late run of that, maybe around '82 or so, when we first got cable, and they ran him right in the morning, right after Batman.
Yeah.
And they would show these Terry Toons, Deputy Dog.
That's right.
Cartoons right before I had to go to sixth grade. I was watching even in fifth and sixth grade, and I'll let you explain him, but he was a wonderful character.
Well, I thought he only existed on Channel 38 because he really plugged Channel 38. So you must have got the early Channel 38 stuff.
Early, yep. WSBK TV 38.
Yes,
Boston.
That's right. And then on Channel 56 was the Bunker Hill Show. Do you remember that one?
No, that one I don't. We just got 38.
He was kind of a train engineer, and he had a mustache, kind of captainish, but not as good as the Captain.
Well,
but Willie had a voice like you either loved it or you hated it. He had a little thing. I don't know how he did it. They put it in his mouth, and he talked in a high-pitched squeal.
Yeah, but that was a wonderful character. I know there are a few clips here and there on online. He was. Uh, those are from the great days of WSBK with
Yeah.
Dana Hersey and who was the
Yeah.
station manager there? They were on Ask the Manager. What was Dan? I can't remember his last name, but they were funny on that show. But WSBK, that was a great channel in those days. I'm
Yes, it
glad you brought
was.
that. Yeah,
It
that
was
was.
very pioneering. Channel 38 was the first UHF station that I ever knew of. I remember my father was
Mhm.
quite a handyman and forward thinking, and he put up a UHF antenna, a giant one, in
Yeah.
our attic that he could
Yes.
move around with string. And
Um,
we got, 38 came first, 56 came a few years later, and then
mhm.
27, and then
Mhm.
25, and then that was it. It
Oh my
joined all
goodness.
the rest of them after a while.
Well, it's so funny. You one thing springboards from another. All the great television memories that we still have, and we
It
look back and
does.
they were done so well.
I totally agree. I'm thinking, even the Mickey Mouse Club, when I was very, very little, I remember being outraged. I was probably 5, and
Mhm.
Mickey Mouse Club got replaced by Bozo the Clown.
Mm.
And every place in America, I believe, had a Bozo the Clown, correct?
Oh yes, we had. As a matter of fact, our local bozo. It wasn't. It was not too long ago. I think a couple of years ago that he passed away. But we had a bozo show on Channel 9 for
Mhm.
about a year. I think in 71, 72, somewhere around there. And I have a picture of him on there. Um, but you did. Oh, the Mickey Mouse Club. Here's something that's interesting. The Mickey Mouse Club originally premiered on the same day as the captain. So
Good.
those very historic day. And I remember, I remember the second wave of the Mickey Mouse Club around 74 or so when
Yeah.
they put it back into
Yeah.
syndication. And I watched that, and there was a whole strip. Our local Channel 5 aired a lot of shows. They showed Tom and Jerry. They showed the new Howdy Doody show from Fort Lauderdale,
Hmm.
and they would strip it, and every day you would watch it and have a lot of fun with those.
Very, very interesting to look back on that stuff. And I like, looking around YouTube, and once in a while you find gold like that, and that's what's amazing about this era.
Sure, absolutely. And if you look deeply, like I do, you're going to find a lot of. You're going to take a lot of time there, but you're going to find a lot of treasures.
What's the one thing, Jason, that you would consider your ultimate find?
Well, my goodness, oh, so many. Uh,
The holy grail of children's television.
Probably the kinescopes of the captain.
Yeah.
These are, and some of them have been, some have been costly. I won't get into
Yeah.
it, but they're well, they're well worth it. Those and the parts of the wardrobe. I even have Mr. Mayer's part of his outfit too.
Yeah,
But
you were
whenever
saying.
I always try to find his programs. Those would be it, and really anything connected to him. A lot of my radio collection, and but I think at the end of the day, when I'm able to put those kinescopes on my projector or watch them and say, this is the ultimate, this is the utmost, and I'm truly those are the most wonderful things in my collection.
Hmm. So before we go, would you like to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about your writing, which is another love of yours?
It's really free form. It's a lot of hopefully comedy, any sort of. I've been gifted, I guess, with as I've been told, with writing skills that would by a number of people who would transport them into a world of adventure, which is my intent. And I'm greatly gratified by doing those free form short stories, longer stories, things that just come from my mind. Hopefully entertaining. I've been writing since, oh goodness, I think it goes right back into my childhood. I think I have one of the very first stories I wrote for in school. And it's as a matter of fact, one of my teachers, I don't know if I've ever told this story anywhere, but my sixth grade teacher, bless him, he's passed away now, but he said that told me that the things I do bring entertainment to others, and he also said that you'll find in life that they'll also get you through the all of the wonders and wonderment of life. That's a tremendous honor from him. He was a wonderful man.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. I'm sure we've only scratched the surface of your interests and hobbies and pursuits. So we will save that for another time. You're definitely not going to be leaving us forever here.
Okay. Well, thank you, Elena. I want to tell you and your viewers and listeners, it's been a tremendous honor for me to be here to speak with you today.
My honor. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. And for all of you out there, what do you want to do?